Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Capers Business Ventures Connect podcast. We'd love for you to subscribe and looking forward to your reviews of our episodes. If you're interested in becoming a guest on our podcast, we'd love to have you. So please visit us at cbbservices.com/podcast, and we'll be in touch. We're glad you're here, and we're ready to get started. Are you ready to meet an author who decided to stop making excuses and lock her here? Well, you're in luck because that best-selling author is here with us, so let's connect. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to visit with me at the Capers Business Ventures Connect podcast. I'm your host, Mel Capers, and I'm excited and delighted to be here with you. Before we get going, let me just give pause and give thanks to my great creator for allowing me just another opportunity to do his will on this side of heaven. I also want to thank my good friends. They are Tasha and Kevin White, co-founders of Vanguardian Global. They're doing amazing things at Vanguardian Global, so you need to check them out at vanguardianglobal.com. Also want to send a great shout out to a great friend. She is Corliss Odwama, president of Agape Love in Action Incorporated. Please go by her website and take a look. She's at agapeloveinaction.com. And I'm so glad to have as a guest the author of the #1 best-selling book, Quit Making Excuses and Lock Your Hair, Exploring My Lock Hair Journal, done by Michelle Greene-Smith. She's here with me, and I can't tell you, I can't wait for you to meet her. So let's just do that. In our first segment, we call the Meet and Greet segment. Well, here we are with one of the best authors that I have met this entire year. I'm telling you, she is the bomb. And I am so happy to have on with me Michelle Greene-Smith. She is here to talk about her book. I am delighted and excited to have her. Michelle, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here talking with you, Mr. Melvin Caper.
It is so good to have you here. You know, I've been telling a lot of folks about you and kind of building you up. I mean, I know you well, but I want my listening audience to hear the truth. Okay. Because according to the way I was putting it, you were not only the first lady, you were the president of 5 different countries around the world, and now we need to tell the truth. So I want people to know who is Michelle Greene-Smith, and let's do it in our first segment, which we call the meet and greet. So who is Michelle Greene-Smith?
Well, after that introduction, I'm like, my gosh, does anybody want to know who I am now? I'm a young lady who always desired to write a book, and I finally did it. And it's published right now. It's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But yeah, I'm just a goal oriented person. You know, if I want something, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm just out here making things happen. I'm excited. I love to travel. I like encouraging people. Um, I am a nurse by trade. That's my primary job. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for 16 years now. I don't look it, but I am. I'm a wife. I'm a sister. I have one sister. And I have, other people who call me sis and everything. They just love me like that. But I only have one biological sister. I'm an auntie to two nephews. I love them with all my heart. I'm a good friend. Um, I'm a good person.
Where are you from?
So I am from a little small town it's called Maysville, South Carolina. And a lot of people are like, where is that? And my next response is, well, it's between the city of Sumter and Florence. And I also say it is the home of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, who founded Bethune-Cookman University.
Let's talk about your childhood. When you were growing up, was it a time when you wanted to write a book, or let's just talk about your childhood? I mean, were you always an author, that you just always wanted to get your message out?
I was always writing. I can remember maybe I was about 6 years old in first grade. We had these chairs. They weren't leather or whatever, but it was at the dining table, and I was just so happy I could write. I knew how to spell my name. I knew a few of my classmates' name. I knew how to spell that. So I was literally writing it on the chair, like, just my first name, just writing it all the way down, writing the next person's name all the way down. So I was just writing. If I had of course I had spare time. I love to write. I would just sit there and write stories or just write anything. That was just something I always loved doing. And I can remember maybe around third grade, I told my mom I wanted to write a book. I was going to write a book. Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, I'm going to do it. So I had some loose leaf paper, and I would just write stories, things I already read, and kind of mimic that. And I'm like, I didn't know how to publish a book or anything like that. I had my loose leaf paper, and I had some construction paper, and that would be my cover. So, and then I would have some glue and just glue everything together, and that was my book. I'm like, I'm gonna write a book. And as I got older, we would have these moments in school where we would journal. I forgot what they used to call it, but we'd have maybe about 30 minutes to write about anything. So that was helpful for me, because also during that time, I guess that's when the bullying came in, people who think they're better than you. And I'm just like, I just can't stand it. So that journaling helped me get out my feelings, and then I would share it with my friends, and they'd just be laughing and carrying on. So I'm like, there's something to this. And then if I had a crazy dream or something, I'll just write that down into a story and pass it out to my friends, and they'll read it. And yeah, I did that through high school. And I kind of just stopped writing for a while. And then some years ago, I was like, what do I like doing? What do I used to like doing? And I'm like, I used to love writing. I'm like, I need to get back into that. And so I tapped into that in 2018. I'm like, I'm gonna start this blogging thing. And I'm like, I'm full of knowledge. Let me share what I know with other people. So I said, I'm gonna do this blogging thing. So I started blogging since 2018, and I'm still doing it. So sharing my knowledge and experience there, still writing, typing, and then 2021, the end of 2021, published a book. So writing has always been in me.
You told me that that you told your mother that you were going to write a book. I mean,
Yep.
Was your mother an author? I mean, did she get into writing, or I mean, why all
Yeah,
of a sudden you just wanted to do writing?
I think it's just in the bloodline. Maybe my mom wasn't an author, but I think she loved writing too. I knew she was. My mom's deceased. I knew she was an English major, and she didn't. I didn't see her writing stories or anything like that, but she had great penmanship. I just look at her writings, but I think she maybe deep inside she wanted to write too, but I knew it was within me for sure. And also in the book, I dedicated the book to her because I'm like, I told her when I was young I was going to do it, and I finally did it.
But
So I,
let's talk about your book. And let me the title of your book, Quit Making Excuses and Lock Your Hair. Explore
yes.
my lock hair journey. That's the title of her book. So by the way, I need everybody to see a copy of this book. So if you can put your book up and show everybody the book that you wrote, the number one best-selling book. It's called Quit Making Excuses and Lock Your Hair. Explore my lock hair journey by the one and only Michelle Greene-Smith. How did you get to this book and this title?
Okay, so when I started my locks and everything, everywhere I went, whether I was at work, in the grocery store, if I'm out of town, another state, somebody is stopping me, asking me about my hair. How did I style my hair like that? I want to lock my hair too, but what do you use? And all kinds of questions. It's like, oh, I'm so excited they want to, just ask me of all people. And I share it with them. And I'm like, this is becoming a thing. I'm like, I need to write a book. So I do have a couple of posts about my lock journey on my blog. And I'm like, I'm gonna take this a step further. I'm like, yeah, for sure. I gotta write this book. And I'm like, a lot of women, they want to do it. Then they make these excuses. Well, well, my job, or well, I don't know how I'm gonna look. Oh, my forehead too big, or I don't have the right face shape. It's like, stop all of that. Just do it. Do it.
Wow. Well, let me check this out. Let me ask you this question. So people just see you with your lock hairstyle, and they said, "I want to do that too." And then you try to coach them into doing it, and they have excuses for not
Yeah.
wanting to do it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, I can't do it. Well, well, you better than me. I mean, well, it costs too much. No, stop. Stop talking yourself out of doing something that you really want to do.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Listen, we can spend all day long in this segment, but we have to get on to our next segment. Are you ready to get on to our next segment?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. And here we are in our next segment. We call this segment On the Horizon. This is the time that I ask my guests, what's on the horizon? What's coming up? What do you have that you want the listening audience to be prepared to see what Michelle Green Smalls is going to be doing? So Michelle, what's on the horizon?
All right. So I'll be at a few festivals that's coming up. I don't know the exact name, and I wish I had it pulled up, but I'm gonna be in Cheraw, South Carolina, at their book festival. Um, then I'm going to be at the Charleston Natural Hair Show that's in June. I'll be there at my booth. I'll be promoting the book. Um, they're the answer any questions or anything like that. Just want to be out there with the people. It's gonna be a fun time. People from all over generally come out. I've been to at least one of them, pre-COVID, and it was very fun. There's a lot of vendors, a lot of Black business owners promoting their services or their products, whether it's hair or event planning, just professional Black people just out there doing their thing, and I just love that. And if there are any other local book festivals, I'm sure I'll be trying to join those as well. But at the moment, I know I have those two on the books.
We are on with the incredible Michelle Greene-Smith. She is the author of the book, Quit Making Excuses and Lock Your Hair. Explore my lock hair journey. It's a bestseller, right? You said Barnes and Nobles.
Yes. It's Amazon bestseller, number one best-selling. So I was proud of that. My publisher, Miss Sonia Pinckney Rhodes, she was very instrumental in helping me get that achievement.
That's fantastic. She's a fantastic lady too. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your success. I just wish I got to ask you this though. Let's go back into the title of your book, Quit Making Excuses and Lock Your Hair. So you love to write, and you've got locks in your hair.
Yes.
Did you ever think about being a hairstylist? I mean, was that ever in your blood? I mean, and who, by the way, locked your hair?
Okay, so the hairstyling thing, I thought about that briefly. So back in high school, we could go to the career center. So there were, a few options that stood out, because I'm like, when I finish school, I want to make some money. I want to be able to make some money. So I was like, well, maybe I could do the cosmetology. And I was like, well, there's some upfront fees you have to pay with that. I'm like, okay, I know my mom don't have that. So I'm like, maybe not. But over time, especially when I was dabbling with my natural hair, I'm like, well, what kind of styles can I do? And I got into braiding, micro braids and, extensions and stuff like that. But I was like, I had my little dummy, my little hair dummy, and I was just practice on that. But I never thought I would actually go to school and do that. But just trying to learn different styles on my own, that was in me. But I was like, no, I don't see myself going back to school for that.
So, I got to ask you this though, because I want to think that it's obvious that you did all of this on your own with no influence whatsoever, but that's not realistic. I'm sure you had some influence from your family and friends. So, and I usually ask my guests this question. It's a lot of fun trying to dig deep and getting the answers to this question. And here is the question. I'm a basketball fanatic, and I remember back in the 90s, they had the dream team of these amazing basketball players all on one team. Michelle, if you had a dream team of 5 people, and you're one of the 5 people on your dream team, who would the other 4 members of your dream team be, and why would they be on your dream team?
That's a good question. Man, I can't think of 4 other people at the time. That's a homework question, Melvin. Man, I know I was influenced by Dr. Maya Angelou. We were in school. I think this was 6th grade. President Bill Clinton was, getting inaugurated. And she read her poem. Back then, I was in the poems, not anymore. She read her poem, and I was just so amazed. I'm like, oh my God, look at that Black lady up there. The world is looking at her, just talk and speak. And I'm like, oh my God. So I do remember it was published. I don't know if it was Ebony magazine or Time magazine, but that her poem for the inauguration, it was published. I cut it out the magazine, and I have it in a book. It's at home, my childhood home. And I'm like, I was just that was a big moment for me. And I just love her work ever since then. I read a couple of her books and I just love her wisdom, her quotes, just love her. So that's one. I'd have to dig deep for some others.
Let's dig it. Let's dig deep. Come on. Think about your entire life and who had some of the most impact in your life that caused you to be where you are today.
Yeah, my mom. Shoot, my mom, both of my grandmas. So that's three.
Why? I mean, why your mom and grandma?
My mom, I would say that's my first love. Shoot, man. Oh, don't get me to crying now. I love and miss her so much. Life was cut off very short. And so
let's see, you got Maya Angelou, you got your mom, you got both your grandmother. That's your five right there.
Okay.
You know what? I always ask people that, and sometimes people tell me people like Beyonce.
Oh, no.
And people say things like, they go Beyonce, they go Michelle Obama, they go Oprah.
Yes, I love Michelle Obama. Oh my God. Yeah. I love her. Oh, she's so inspiring. And got to see her on her book tour.
Did you?
Oh, that's an amazing experience. I wrote about that on the blog too. I love her so much. And her book, I love it.
Wait, on the book tour. So where did she come with that? Was she in South Carolina on the book tour?
I came to your city. I came to Washington, D.C.
Okay. Because I'm like, wait a minute. I don't remember her going to South Carolina. Okay. So she having her book obviously was a special event for you, and that's why you came. Hey, listen, a lot of fun in this segment. It's time to get into our final segment. We call the segment the Connect segment. You ready to get into the Connect segment?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. In our final segment, we call it the Connect segment. This is the segment where I ask my guests to give out their social media website, give out everything, fingerprint, credit card information. No, we don't go that far, but this is how we get our guests to give everything that they have so that people can connect with them. So Michelle, how do people connect with you?
Okay, they can connect with me on Instagram. You can type in my full name, Michelle Greene-Smith, or my blog handle, which is Succeeding Naturally. My blog, you can reach me there. You can read about my experience or whatever. You can send me a message. You can leave a comment on the blog, succeedingnaturally.com. On Facebook, the blog handle, Succeeding Naturally blog on Facebook. My personal Facebook is Michelle Greene-Smith. Instagram, Facebook, website. Yep, that's it.
That's how
people meet me on the street.
Meet you on the street. Listen, I see a lot of great things happening for you, and just keep plugging along, but don't stop dreaming, because your book, I mean, first of all, just getting up enough nerve to say, I want to go and write this book. And I know that process was not an easy process. I mean, or am I wrong? Was it an easy process to write your book?
Let's see. The actual steps of writing, because I love to do it. So I would say that was easy. The publishing part, getting the next steps. After you have your draft written up, and you got it in the order that you wanted, it's like, what's the next step? What do I do now? Who do I contact? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should do it. That's frustrating, and that's not easy. That part.
When you wrote your book, was it in the order that it ended up being, or did you have to move things around, or how did that work?
Pretty much it's in the order. I had some beta readers that consisted of my friends. I have an older aunt. She lives in DC. I sent it to her, another published author. I sent it to her. And so I got feedback from them. And one of my friends, she was like, I think you should maybe move this chapter in front of this one. And that was the only thing. I changed.
Michelle, I think you just answered the question, but when you started with your first words in this book, was it what you wanted when it came out at the end? Was it exactly the way you wanted it?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I'm a visionary. You know, I got to see things and I got to make it come together. And I'm like, this is it. I don't want to do anything else. I like it just like this. So, and when I got it to Sonia, I'm like, you know, if she make any recommendations, I'm fine. But she liked the way it was too. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing a little something.
Well, I absolutely love your book. Quit making excuses, which we do a lot, but quit making excuses and lock your hair. You talk about explore my lock hair journey. It has been a pleasure to have you here. But before we get out of here, I've got to ask you, are there any people you want to shout out? Now is the time to shout them out. Who you want to shout out?
Oh, so I'll shout out my husband, Shelton Smalls. And all of the natural hair folks that's out there, you know, rocking their twists or afros, locks, just out there doing their own thing.
That is all right. Well, listen, Michelle, it has absolutely been a treat to have you on. And I got to tell you, I learned a lot about locking hair, and I guess that might not be something I'll be doing. But if it comes back, maybe I will do it. Thank you so much for taking the time to just be with me here today and talk about your book. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
It's been great. And we will see you the next time.
We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, Capers Business Ventures Connect. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So please like, share, subscribe, and leave a review. You can also find us on social media. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn at Capers Business Ventures. And on Instagram and Twitter, you can find us at CBV Services. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.